In this video, we'll be providing an overview of three coding languages: HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. These three languages are used commonly on BSD Online to create complete products like websites, apps, and video games. Now, these three languages are all connected through HTML, so we'll start there. In the HTML, you'll notice a portion of the code has been locked and a portion of the code is editable. In the locked area, we see two different elements. One is the link element here on line 5 that links directly to the style.css file, which is our CSS tab. And at the bottom, down here on line 21, there's a script element that links to script.js. Now, these two lines of code are very important because they allow the three languages to communicate together and produce the awesome website that you can see over on the right. Now, the role of HTML specifically is to label the content so that the browser, like Google Chrome or Firefox or Safari, is understanding how the content should be read and displayed on the page. In this case, we have an H1, which stands for heading 1. We've got a paragraph element here. I've also got an image, which is allowing me to bring an image from the internet, an open source image, and display it here on my website. Down here, I've got a BR tag, which is actually creating a line break. And then finally, I have a button tag, which I've used right here to connect with what's happening in JavaScript. All right, so when we think about HTML, we're not thinking so much about colors and about positioning and about how everything looks. What we're really thinking about is what is the content that's on the page. Now, when we move over to CSS, you'll notice that it looks quite different. Instead of using elements, we now talk about selectors. Here on line 1 where it says body, this is a selector. What it's doing is it's going and referencing the body tag right here in HTML. Now, the body tag holds everything, all the content of the website. So you can see here on line 2, by making the background color yellow-green, that has then been translated to the full page. There's all types of different properties you can affect with CSS, including spacing, including how the text aligns. Down here, you can see that the color of my H1 is being declared here. You can see the font family has been decided, and you can even do things like resize images. CSS is a really important part of creating large websites because it creates a set of rules that the HTML should follow. That means that if I create a new page, let's say a new post on a blog, it will automatically look like it matches the rest of my blog posts. I don't have to manually think about how the layout's going to be or how the theme should look or what the mood of the page is. All of that is controlled through rules that are defined in CSS. Now, JavaScript plays a very different role. JavaScript is all about functionality. So when our website comes to life, either through animation or interactivity with the user, that's JavaScript. Now, in this particular case, I've got a function called quiz. This is a set of instructions that I've given to the computer that it'll follow whenever the quiz function is called. And if you go back to HTML and remember right down here in the button tag, we'll look at that, onClick equals quiz. What that means is that whenever that button is clicked, the quiz function will be triggered. What the quiz function does is it asks a question, true or false. The Amazon River is the longest river in the world. Well, if you were to answer true to that, then you would get an alert that says incorrect. The Nile River is actually the world's longest river. If you had answered false, then you'll get a message that says correct. This type of logic makes JavaScript a really powerful programming language and gives kids the opportunity to create real experiences with their user. Let's try the quiz to confirm. I'll just take the quiz button. I see the instructions that are provided on line 2 of my JavaScript here. If I choose OK, as in true, I'm incorrect. The Nile River is actually longer. If I were to restart and take my quiz again and this time choose false, I get the answer correctly. Learning how HTML, CSS, and JavaScript come together to create a finished product is a super important part of learning how to work with technology. You'll need different coding languages for different jobs. And in the real world, this can even translate into different job positions. People who deal exclusively with programming in JavaScript, as opposed to people who deal specifically with front-end development using HTML and CSS to style and lay out and design a great experience for your users. I hope you enjoyed learning about these, and I can't wait to see what you build.